Hey, Tej here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for SP500. I'll cover wave analysis with Elliott Wave Theory and provide multiple scenarios of price may take and explain why I prefer one counter over another. Let's take a look at the different possibilities. Today we're going to be focusing again on these structures from the lows of October 13th, as we still have not reached the end of this structure most likely. So let's check out the bearish scenario first, in which we have this as a WXY into a larger wave degree or sub-minute wave W here, WXY into X of that same structure, and then a possible wave Y here completing that here. It is possible, again, as mentioned, completing this whole structure in here, but we did not reach the one-to-one extension of this WXY. So there is definitely a possibility where we might be just creating a ABC, basically the first structure of this wave Y, creating now a second structure here, and then another structure like so, pivoting from these lows upwards, and that would lead us towards these targets that we have here on higher time frame around 4100 to 4200. But again, that is speculation at this point. One-to-one extension in time comparison for this wave W, for that wave pivoted again from the X, is right around the where we are ended actually here. So we don't really need to go any further. However, as we were talking about yesterday and the Nasdaq lows, we were looking into those here as some kind of three-way structure for the lows and took the longs there, as now we are getting some kind of three-way structure again upwards. At the moment, we are getting divergences on smaller time frames, on 5 minutes and 1 minute especially. We can get this very beautiful looking divergence. I'm short from these tops, looking for some kind of scalp at least. We'll see if that is turning out. And again, on here, we are still long from these lows. Again, how we were looking at these lows was just because, again, these were getting into that territory where we had confluence. Again, on Nasdaq we had the 1.236 of this higher time frame, and also the 1.236 of this. And on SP500, as the extensions are a bit different, we are actually I'm just long on the Nasdaq but not on here. But yeah, this is basically the same picture here. We had the confluence around with the 1-to-1 and 1.236 here on SP500, took a bit lower and then got up. But yeah, that was the reasons why we were going long from here. Again, this was some kind of three-way structure, so depending on your higher time frame view, you could be having this as possible wave 4, like we have on the more bullish one, or this could be starting some kind of a correction that we would have possibly for this structure to be that larger wave Y here, so that would be pivoted up here. So those are the possibilities there. On, again, smaller time frame, if we are looking at this, we just tagged the 1.236 of this move here, and right around the 1.236 as well on this move again. So this would be the higher time frame count, again right into the 1.236. Both of these have had the very similar extension targets, so again this had the best confluence, so that is also what we would be looking. We also had previous highs here as a resistance, also this area here. So this is somewhat of a relevant area for sure. We had some kind of support previously on it, and then again resistance now a third time basically. So if we are coming back to this area later on, I feel like this is going to be breaking. But for now, I'm looking for that scalp short. The more bullish one would be again this one, in which again we would be looking this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into wave A or wave 1. After that point again we would have a three-way structure here into that wave B or wave 2, and then again 1, 2, 3, possibly up in here where we had the ABC on the other count, or wave 3 could also be in here, and wave 4 would be this high, and wave 5 here. Again, depending on how and or which way you want to be viewing that, those both are possible. Again, comparing this wave 2 here for that wave 4 or possible wave 4 here, is definitely possible, and it doesn't even look too bad. We would be having that alteration here as we did on Nasdaq as well on both of these. The only bad thing about if we are thinking that this is actually the wave 4 is that this is actually there's no what's the word, alteration, there we go, between this wave 4 here and this wave 4, or sorry, wave 2 here. So that is one reason why we could be preferring this area here for that wave 4. Again, we have not retraced too much for this wave 4 to be invalid. Invalid would be here at the 38.60 something, and again we did only hit the 39.14. So yeah, that's that. Again, if we would have broken these previous lows here, where we have basically the 0.5 as well, we would be looking at for more this as a start of something else, at least with discounts. So the expectation here is that we would be actually getting one more high for this fifth wave, if this indeed is still that wave 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and at that point again we would be then only looking lower. Either at that point we are looking for a wave 4 after that point, because again this high here could be wave 3 or wave C. We don't know of that either. The one thing that we could be monitoring is this extension targets, and just because again these extension targets are giving us the idea where we are at on these counts, the 1.618 extension would be the only area where we would be thinking that this might be a wave 3 instead. So there is a lot of movement needing to be happening for me to turn bullish on this point, or at this point, instead of being an ABC where this is the target area. I would definitely see this way more probable hitting the 1-to-1 extension of this original move in comparison to that 1.618, because again the higher time frame expectations, and also because again this fifth wave would need to be very much larger. Of course, if we are getting a third wave here, then wave 4 would be pretty similar, and we should hold the previous wave 4 structures. I would be really surprised if we are getting that kind of fifth wave. Of course, we don't have any extensions on the wave 1 or wave 3 here. Again, wave 3 just hit the 1.618. So it is completely possible that we are getting an extension on fifth. But is it this large? I'm not quite sure. We'll see. But those are the two scenarios that I'm still keeping in mind. We'll see if that short gets us going anywhere or not. It is completely possible, of course, to say that we have this as this first structure of wave 4. However, if we are just comparing against the wave 2, this being the second structure and then third structure, we would be getting some kind of structure like that in comparison to this. It starts to lose the likeliness of it. So if this is going to be playing out like this, I definitely don't really like placing the wave 4 anymore here, and instead we would be looking for this as the wave 4 and possibly even calling in the wave C here complete. But I think that is pretty much the expectation at the moment for S&P 500. Most likely I'm looking for some kind of new lows here, unless we are breaking, of course, this trend line here on RSI, and then we definitely can be going up higher. But yeah, that is pretty much everything I wanted to share today. If you made it this far into the video, I would appreciate the likes. Link to my free Discord server in the description below, and for now I thank you for watching and hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you next video. Bye bye.